1 point. Just 1 point separated immortality from heartbreak. In a game where every possession felt like a championship possession. In a game where momentum changed hands more times than anyone could count. The New York Knicks somehow survived. 105-104. And now one question is echoing across the basketball world. Did we just witness the greatest NBA Finals game of this generation? Let's go back to the beginning. Because this wasn't just a basketball game. This was a war. For Knicks fans, the wait has felt endless. Generations have grown up hearing stories about the glory days. Stories about legends. Stories about championships. Stories about moments that became basketball folklore. But stories don't win championships. Current players do. And heading into this NBA Finals matchup against San Antonio, New York carried the hopes of an entire city. Not just a team. Not just a franchise. An entire city. Across New York, bars were packed. Families gathered around televisions. Millions watched with one dream. Bring the title home. Standing in their way. A Spurs team that refused to be intimidated. A young, fearless group that had shocked opponents throughout the postseason. A team built on discipline. A team built on resilience. A team that believed destiny belonged to them. And for 4 quarters, they nearly proved it. But what happened next changed everything. The game began exactly how a finals game should. Fast. Physical. Relentless. Every possession carried urgency. Every rebound felt important. Every defensive stop felt monumental. The Spurs struck first. Their ball movement was crisp. Their confidence was obvious. San Antonio wasn't playing like underdogs. They were playing like champions. And that surprised many observers. The Knicks looked tense early. Shots that normally fell rattled out. Passes weren't quite as sharp. Defensive rotations arrived half a second late. And in the NBA Finals, half a second is forever. The Spurs capitalized. They attacked aggressively. They pushed the pace. They forced mistakes. Suddenly New York found itself trailing. And the pressure inside the arena began to rise. The crowd could feel it. The players could feel it. Everyone knew this wasn't going to be easy. Great teams respond. Championship teams adapt. And that's exactly what New York did. Instead of panicking, they settled down. Their defense tightened. Passing lanes disappeared. Driving lanes vanished. Every Spurs possession became more difficult. Then came the offensive adjustment. The Knicks stopped forcing shots. They trusted the extra pass. They trusted each other. And slowly, the momentum began to shift. The crowd came alive. Madison Square Garden transformed into a volcano. Every basket sounded like an earthquake. Every defensive stop sounded like thunder. The Knicks weren't just playing basketball anymore. They were feeding off pure energy. And suddenly the game was tied. Then came the lead change. Then another. Then another. This final showdown had officially become a classic. But nobody knew the chaos that was still ahead. Many teams would have folded. Many teams would have allowed the crowd to overwhelm them. Not San Antonio. The Spurs answered every challenge. Every Knicks run. Every momentum swing. Every emotional explosion. With calm. With execution. With discipline. It was remarkable. The young Spurs looked completely fearless. They attacked the paint. They knocked down timely shots. They controlled the tempo whenever New York threatened to pull away. Again and again, the Knicks surged. The Spurs responded. The Knicks surged again. The Spurs responded again. This wasn't basketball anymore. This was survival. The third quarter became a masterclass in adjustments. Every timeout mattered. Every substitution mattered. Every defensive scheme mattered. The coaching staffs were playing chess while everyone else watched basketball. One adjustment created an advantage. Then another adjustment erased it. The tactical battle became fascinating. The Spurs tried slowing the game down. The Knicks increased pressure. The Spurs attacked inside. The Knicks countered with help defense. Neither side could gain separation. Neither side could breathe. Every possession felt like a miniature game within the game. And as the third quarter ended, the scoreboard reflected exactly what everyone was seeing. A dead-even battle between two teams refusing to surrender. Then came the fourth quarter. Championships are remembered because of moments. Not statistics. Not predictions. Moments. And the fourth quarter delivered enough moments for an entire season. The pace slowed. Every possession became heavier. The pressure became visible. Players who had looked comfortable suddenly looked human. Shots became harder. Defenses became tougher. The margin for error disappeared. The lead changed hands repeatedly. One team would score. The other would answer. One crowd eruption. Then another. Then another. Nobody could escape. Nobody could separate. Nobody could blink. Because every second mattered. Then came the sequence everyone will remember. The play that changed the championship landscape. The play that transformed tension into chaos. A crucial defensive stop. A fast break opportunity. A massive basket. Just like that, momentum exploded toward New York. The arena shook. Fans screamed. Players celebrated. And for a brief moment, it looked like the Knicks might finally pull away. But championship basketball rarely follows scripts. The Spurs answered immediately. Another huge shot. Another clutch moment. Another reminder that they weren't leaving quietly. What followed was pure drama. 2 minutes left. Season on the line. Championship on the line. Legacies on the line. Every possession felt enormous. The Knicks scored. The Spurs answered. The Knicks defended. The Spurs countered. The tension became unbearable. You could feel it through the television screen. Fans weren't sitting anymore. Players weren't resting anymore. Coaches weren't blinking anymore. Everyone understood. History was approaching. Fast. And then, the moment arrived. New York led by 105-104. The Spurs had one final chance. One final possession. One final opportunity to steal victory. The crowd stood frozen. Millions watched. The ball moved around the perimeter. Defenders switched. Players fought for position. Seconds disappeared. The shot went up. Time seemed to stop. Every eye followed the basketball. Every heart stopped beating. Then, missed. Game over. Pandemonium. Absolute pandemonium. The Knicks had survived. Not dominated. Not cruised. Survived. By a single point. The final score will say 105-104. But numbers don't tell the whole story. This victory represented resilience. Pressure. Belief. Execution. The Knicks faced adversity repeatedly. Every time they got knocked backward, they responded. Every time momentum disappeared, they fought to get it back. Every time doubt appeared, they answered. Championship teams aren't perfect. They're persistent. And New York proved that once again. On the other side stood heartbreak. The Spurs were brilliant. They were courageous. They were disciplined. And for most of the night, they looked capable of winning. That's what makes this loss so painful. One possession. One bounce. One shot. That's all that separated them from victory. But sometimes sports can be cruel. Sometimes great performances don't get rewarded. Sometimes incredible effort still ends in heartbreak. And this was one of those nights. Years from now, fans may forget individual statistics. They may forget certain possessions. But they'll remember the feeling. They'll remember the tension. They'll remember the drama. They'll remember the night the Knicks escaped by a single point. A game where neither team deserved to lose. A game that reminded everyone why sports matter. Because sometimes reality creates stories better than fiction ever could. And this game was proof. 1 point. One unforgettable night. One NBA Finals classic. Forever remembered. Now I want to hear from you. Was this Knicks victory a sign of championship destiny? Or did the Spurs let a golden opportunity slip away? And where does this game rank among the greatest NBA Finals thrillers you've ever watched? Drop your answer in the comments below. If you love epic sports stories, legendary moments, and deep dive documentaries covering the greatest journeys in sports history, make sure you subscribe to @Usasports Journey 369, because the next unforgettable chapter is already being written, and you won't want to miss it.